Does anyone have any questions before we actually begin? Okay, so I'm just gonna change my camera view so you can see kind of like a cooking show. If you have opened your box already, you'll see that you have jars that are labeled A, B, C, D. So you can kind of just like put that out a little more organized so you have everything ready. You're also gonna have a chocolate bar mold at the bottom of your box, and you're gonna have some parchment sheet. So that's labeled E and F, okay? So you're also gonna have, I don't have it with me, but it's like a mini jar of sea salt. I don't think anyone got the glitter flavor. If you did, it has glitter in it. But you should have a mini little jar of sea salt. Sometimes it's hard to take off, so we're gonna use that later. And so for the first step, which is A, it's the only step that we're gonna be using actual heat with. The rest, we're gonna turn the heat off, and we're gonna use low heat on your stovetop. You wanna use low heat. So you're gonna open up your jar, and this is cacao butter. If you want, you can take a little whiff of it before we put it in there, and it kind of smells like chocolate. So I'm gonna go and take mine and put it over low heat, and then I'll explain to you exactly what this is. I'll be right back. Okay, so one of the main reasons I decided to make chocolate from home is because I was looking for an easier way to, feed my sweet tooth. And at the same time, I wanted to, find a way to make it healthier than usual. So this is it's a vegan dark chocolate. So the cacao butter, which is what we just used, which is A, you want to make sure it's low heat. It comes from a cacao bean, and it actually is full of amazing health benefits. So it's still a fat, and it's similar to, let's say, like coconut oil or avocado, where they say it's really important to introduce these types of fats into your diet. So cacao butter is the same way, where obviously in moderation, it's actually really good for your hair, for your skin, for your heart health. A lot of companies use cacao butter in lip chapstick or moisturizers or body moisturizers. So it has a lot of great health benefits. It's kind of the base of what the chocolate is. Obviously cacao, it's a bean, so it's vegan. It's no like animal fat or anything like that. It looks like butter, the texture is very similar to like regular butter that we would eat, but yeah, it's from a cacao bean. This cacao butter is from Peru, and the powder that we're going to use next is from Ecuador. So these beans grow in climates that are a lot more humid and hot. So yeah, and there's so many different places where you can choose to get your cacao, but after sampling, I chose from Peru and Ecuador, and you'll see why. It's delicious. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so this step, you have to be patient. If you want, you can kind of like twirl the pan so it melts quicker. And once it melts, you want to turn off your heat. The main reason why we don't want to use high heat is that once you start adding the other ingredients, it actually changes the texture of your chocolate, and it creates a more like clumpy, thick chocolate, and we want it to be smooth and like not burnt. So that's why we do that. I'm gonna go check on mine, and I'll be right back. Should be almost ready. Okay, mine is halfway. If yours is melted, put your hand up and I'll let you know what to do, but you want to just make sure you turn off the heat. And the main difference between this chocolate that we're making versus any chocolate you'll see at the chocolate stores is that this chocolate is not tempered. So what tempering your chocolate, it's like a little scientific process they do at the factories that they break down the chocolate crystals and then they recrystallize and then they break it down again with different temperatures. And with that, it becomes shelf stable, which means that it will not melt, at the grocery stores. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. So this chocolate, what we do is we actually freeze it once it's ready. And once you take it out, I'm sure like your climate, you guys are a little cooler because you're on the East Coast and it's a little cold probably. It's hot in LA, so things are melting a lot faster. But you want to make sure you store it in the refrigerator or the freezer. So you don't want to like leave it out on the shelf or like leave it in a container. You want to put it in the freezer or the refrigerator, and it actually tastes more delicious that way anyways. It immediately melts in your mouth. So you'll definitely notice the difference. I think mine is ready, so I'm going to go get it. Okay.
If it is melted, should we go ahead and take it off the heat or just let it still sit on the stove?
Yeah, you could take it off the heat. So I took mine off and I just put it right here. So you don't even need the heat anymore. So that's how it should look. Nice and looks like butter. Did everybody's else melted? Everybody else is melted?
Mine's not melted yet.
Almost. Okay, so you can like shake it around. It makes it melt a lot faster.
Okay.
Just make sure you don't really turn up the heat. So this part kind of takes longer than actually making the chocolates, because now all we're going to do is pour in the rest of the ingredients. The melting part is the toughest part, but this is the most important part. Just being really cautious about it. So for those that have melted, we're going to get your B, which is your cacao powder. So you can open it up and, looks like chocolate powder. You can smell it, smells like chocolate. This also comes from the cacao bean. So this is what I was saying, it's from Ecuador. So right now we have cacao butter that has amazing health benefits, really good fat. And now we have cacao powder. So we're going to pour in all of the powder. And then you want to mix it really, really well. Okay, so I'm going to mix mine. So cacao powder also comes from the cacao bean, which is from Ecuador. And cacao powder is actually very, very high in antioxidants, similar antioxidants that a blueberry has. So they say like all of these amazing antioxidants are anti-aging, really good for, so many different things. So cacao powder, it's also actually a superfood. So when they say dark chocolate is really good for you, it's because of the cacao powder that they have. You might notice, at different like smoothie places, they add cacao powder. They might even charge extra to add the cacao powder. So it's a great superfood. Together, the cacao butter and cacao powder, right now, it's not sweetened. So this is 100% dark chocolate right here. So we have nothing besides cacao. If you dare to try it, it's not going to taste delicious yet because it's going to be really bitter. But if you have a curious palate and you're curious to see how it tastes, you're more than welcome to. So this is how mine looks right now. Does everybody's look similar to this? So it's nice and smooth.
I have a question about like when do you get a health benefit from like the different dark chocolates or the different, like when I go to buy chocolate, it'll say 70% or 65%. Is there like a level when it's healthier?
Yeah, I mean, the higher the percentage, the healthier it is, because that means the less sweetener or sugar that they add. I would say like 75 to 7, maybe like 70 and up is a lot better for you. When you find something that's like 55, that's literally half, you know, it's more, it's a lot more sweeter, it's more delicious. But I would stick to like 75 and above if you really want like it still satisfies the sweet tooth, but it's definitely a lot more bitter.
Thank you.
Of course. And so the best thing about making your own chocolate at home is that you're actually in charge of how sweet you make your chocolate. So that was one thing that I really liked when you know, you're making dinner, you're making a pasta, you don't have to put a bunch of salt. You can kind of level, you know, choose how salty you want your food to be. It's the same as your chocolate. You can choose how sweet you want it to be. So in the instructions, it actually says pour a little bit at a time and stir and taste to preference. Since it's your first time, I would just say put the whole thing just because it still is really delicious. And it's not too sweet. Like I'm someone that doesn't like things too sweet. And when I started the company, people were complaining that it was too bitter. So I added more and I allowed people to taste to preference. You're gonna have a seal underneath your cap right here. So you wanna peel that off and then you could twist your cap back on. And so each bottle is about halfway full to a little bit less. If you're someone that knows they like bitter chocolate, you can add a little bit at a time. If you like chocolate because it's sweet and delicious, just do like a few pumps and that should be great. So pretty much almost all of the sweetener and then just mix it really, really well.
What is the sweetener, if I can ask?
Yes, so the sweetener is made of 3 different ingredients. There is agave, it's like 70% agave, and then the rest is maple syrup. And then I add a little bit of vanilla extract. So the maple syrup kind of thins it out. The agave is a little thicker. And maple syrup is really good for not increasing your blood sugar levels too, which is nice. And then the vanilla extract just gives it a nice little touch. So this is basically your melted liquid chocolate. You want to mix it really, really well. It should have gotten a little bit thicker. And if you'd like, you can take a little lick, your spatula, or put your finger in there and, you know, taste it. It's going to be delicious once it's ready too, but just a little preview. And so you want to stir it really, really well. Your kitchen is probably smelling delicious. Really good.
Hey, Brittany, you probably already said this. The little bottle that it was attached to, letter C.
Yeah, you're gonna wait. You're not gonna
Okay.
do that yet. That's at the end. Yeah. So we'll just put that aside. Okay, so once we have mixed it really well, now is the time that you add your flavor. So mine is almonds, which is your D. So you just want to open it up and just pour whatever you have. So I have some roasted almonds here. And just make sure that they're covered in the chocolate. Just like that. Looks really good. So is everybody's consistency nice and smooth? Like this? Okay, great. So once your chocolate and your ingredients are together nicely, we're gonna now pour it into the mold. So I'm gonna put this aside and show you what we need to do. So the first step is you wanna get your flat plate or tray and put that right there. Then you're gonna get, oh, mine just ripped, some parchment paper, which is E, and you're gonna lay that on your flat plate or tray. And then you're gonna get your mold, which is F, and you're gonna lay that onto the parchment. So it's the tray, it's the parchment, and then the mold. I am working on custom molds that are gonna have the company logo on the each square. And then one square is gonna say last bite. So it's kind of fun. You get to keep the last bite for the last bite. Okay, so once we have that ready, what you're gonna do is we're gonna pour into the mold. You wanna make sure that you're not only, if you have like almonds or anything that's chunky, you wanna make sure it's evenly spread throughout the bar, and you don't want like only almonds on one side and then chocolate on the other side. So you're just gonna go back and forth. So I'll kind of just show you. And it's completely fine if it overflows. So just like back and forth, making sure we got all the almonds, and then make sure you got all the chocolate. No chocolate goes to waste. Just like that. And just spread everything out. You want to make sure that your corners are filled. So all the corners are filled with chocolate. Again, if it overflows, it's completely fine. You can clean the edges off once the chocolate bar is ready. Okay. And then once you have all of your chocolate into the mold and everything looks good, you're gonna get your little container of sea salt, which is attached to your C. Sometimes it's hard to rip it off, so you could just take the cork off and just use it like that. Let me know if you're having a hard time. And I don't have it with me, so I'm just gonna sprinkle, or you can just put it into your hand and then just sprinkle some evenly throughout the chocolate bar. Salted dark chocolate is amazing. If you haven't had it, it really enhances the flavors. So this is my chocolate bar. Does everybody else's look similar to this? Anyone have any questions? I think everybody's good. Laura, I see you're doing it with your daughter. That's fun.
We are, yeah.
Are you guys
She was
having
like,
fun?
"Don't show me." But it looks good. I'm on my phone, so I'm not good at like showing the angle, but I feel like it looks really
It
good.
looks great. That looks exactly like mine. So what
Yeah.
flavor do you guys have?
I got the pistachio, the one that has the pistachios in it.
Oh, so good. The Green Dream.
The Green Dream. I knew it had a cute name. I couldn't remember what the, yeah.
It's really good.
I'm
Delicious.
excited.
Yes. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is make sure, again, you have an area in your freezer that you can fit your tray in, a flat surface. And I'm gonna go take mine right back. Okay. Okay, and that is pretty much making chocolate made very, very easy. So obviously, like making anything or baking anything, the most important thing is measurements and temperatures and all of that. And I actually, before I started this company, I wasn't measuring. I kind of was just going by my gut. I was using different ingredients, and I basically was sharing with my friends, and that's kind of how I had the idea of like, oh, why not other people make chocolate? And then I decided to measure everything and make it easier for everybody else. But does anyone have any questions before I lead into the story of the company?
Just so you know, Brittany, I did put your website in the chat box. So if anybody did enjoy making this, or if they want to refill or try another kind of chocolate, that they can come visit you.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
so pretty much what we're gonna do is once your chocolate freezes, the mold is reusable. So it's like a refill that you could order. It's called the Saver Kit. And you save your mold. It's the chocolate bar mold. And anytime you want to try another flavor, so if you tried the Green Dream and you want to try the almond crunch. You can order an almond crunch savor kit, and it comes with everything besides the mold, and you can just make the chocolate again. So that's like a cute way, like kind of your initiation in making chocolate. You got the mold, and if you ever want to try more flavors or do another activity with your kids and all that, you could just reorder. And obviously it's cheaper too without the mold. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And it's very simple. The ingredients are very clean. You know, I'm really big on like, what are you introducing into your body? And I also love sweets. So something that I created to be able to, you know, enjoy both and not feel guilty about it. It's really addictive. So it's hard to stop. So if you finish your whole bar, I understand.
I'm not sure if you had the opportunity, Brittany, but did you tell them what you do for your daytime job?
Yeah, so
Okay.
so pretty much I love sharing the story because it's just one of those things that, you know, I've always wanted. So I'm a dental hygienist, so I clean teeth for a living, and I've been doing that for 6 years now. And you know, I was working as a hygienist every day, and I felt like I wasn't really hitting my capacity. Like I felt like I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. Like I was happy, it was a good job, but I knew I could do more. I had so much creativity that I wasn't using, and it was like all being bottled up. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm not happy. And so obviously COVID hit, and while people were trying to figure out how am I going to work from home and like trying to transfer everything, I was trying to figure out like, what am I going to do with myself? Because I literally can't go to work. Like we had it really badly. We're in people's mouths. So I was, you know, going on walks. I was making foods, granolas, and I was also making chocolate. And so I would post it on my Instagram stories, like just making chocolate or the finished product. And I found that every time I would post it, my community would, you know, say like, can you make me some? Or how do you make it? What are the ingredients? What are the measurements? And for most of the time I would tell them like, I don't measure it, I can't tell you, or like, oh, I'll make you chocolate, I'll drop it off. So I saw like people really wanted chocolate. And so I had an idea. First, I was like, oh, why not I make chocolate for people and drop it off? And that will be my thing just during this time. And there were two things that were in my way. One, it was hot in LA, so I couldn't just leave the chocolate outside by the door, it would melt. Two, I was nervous at that time. We didn't know how COVID would spread. What if I had it? I touched something, would they have it? Like we were all so concerned. So I was like, okay, that's not really the safest thing I could do. So then I took a step back and I was like, okay, if I can't make this for them, why not they have the opportunity to give them the opportunity to make it themselves? And I'll create like a nice kit and with instructions. And then I decided to use a mold to make it more legit. And immediately, like the first thing I do when I have an idea is come up with a name. So I'm like, Chocbox, perfect. So it just all really came together really well. And I'm like, this is what I love this. Like, I love chocolate. I love taking photos. So if you guys have Instagram, it's Chocbox LA, you can follow. And I just have so much fun with posts and making videos and, you know, sharing, and the community is growing too, which is so cool. And so, you know, it took me a few months to decide like, what color jar am I going to use? Am I going to label? Like, you know, how are the instructions? Make it like foolproof pretty much. I had to learn how to ship, you know, all my sweetener was in a jar that would, every time I would ship it, it would leak. It was leaking. I'm like, what do I do? How do I learn? What machine do I need? What seals do I need so it wouldn't leak? So they're like these little things that you don't really you don't really know until you're faced with it. And you know, I was so in love with what it was and the potential that I didn't stop. And I was like, okay, we'll figure it out once we have to deal with it. And like once I launched, first it was just my community and some people that I didn't know. And then, you know, slowly, but like pretty quick at the same time, it started becoming random orders through Instagram. And then like, you know, a few months later, just companies wanting chocolate classes was just something that I never thought I would be doing, but I love it. Like it's actually my favorite thing to do. And just like hearing people's feedback, you know, on being on Etsy and getting the reviews and people messaging me, oh, like I loved my mom loved it. It was a Christmas present, all of that. Valentine's Day, which is amazing too. It's pretty busy. It's just fun. And like, I really love to inspire people to, if you love something and if you have like an itch to do something, don't quit your job, but at the same time, just like go all in. And, you know, if you really want it, it's already there for you. You just have to take the right steps in order to get there. And I really was like the perfect, like when I think back at how I felt like when I would finish work, I was always tired, I wasn't happy, and how energized I am now with, you know, working and just like my schedule now. I hope to inspire other people too, like whether it's, you know, art or making burgers, like it could be anything, but if you have that calling, just go for it. So that's kind of my inspirational message for the day.
I don't want to keep you too long, so I'm sorry, but what made you decide to pick the vendors that you did for each one of the to put into this kit? Like,
so a lot of testing. So again, like the different ingredients, I ordered different cacao from all over, and I really liked this one. And you'll see it's like very nutty. It's light. There are other cacaos that have more fat content, and it's a little heavier. The colors of the jars, I had options between like clear plastic bags, which were really cheap, or like something nice that you could reuse, and it's a little more classy. And like I even spoke to someone, and he's like, use the cheapest material. And I was like, no, I don't want to be like, I want it to look nice, you know? When you're coming from a mindset of like trying to make money and like all that, people can tell once you like decide to use good products and, you know, nice material, it really shows in your product. So yeah, the box, I'm still working on like creating a new box. I don't really love the label, but it is what it is right now. Some small business stuff. But you know,
I think your packaging is actually absolutely great.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Same. I was opening it. My husband said, "Oh my God, that's like so nice."
Oh,
So,
thank you.
good
Yeah,
I
because
do-
I didn't choose to use plastic bags
Yep. I do have a question though. I'm just curious, how far have you shipped one of these kits?
all over. So I've like, through my website, I don't ship internationally, but I have shipped to like the UK, Canada. I've shipped
How did somebody find you if you don't do it through your website?
through Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
and with the company, some of them have members that are in the UK and Ireland and all that. So it works. But yeah,
Awesome.
right now I'm still, so it's a little difficult. Like I was shipping internationally through Etsy for a while, but like I had like a problem with the jar leaking, and then it's like so costly to resend one ingredient. I'm like, it's not worth it yet. So taking it slow. But yeah, if you guys like ever, you know, ever like need more like company events or like sharing the word, the best way for the company growing is by like word of mouth. So if you have friends that need team events or anything like that, like it really helps any small business. Really, just word of mouth is the best way. But yeah, I hope you guys all love your chocolate. I would love to hear how you like it. If you tell Christine or message me on Chocbox LA on the Instagram, or if you post, tag us. So we
I
can
definitely want to try that Berry Bliss
It's so good.
that you just, yeah.
It's so good. Oh, and if you use the code SAVE10 on the website, you get additional 10% off. So use that. Yeah, it's the best. The Berry Bliss. Get it.
And now, so do we just take it out? I think I missed that part because I'm not good at doing two things at once.
Okay.
I take it out of the freezer, and do we keep it out? Or did you say something about the fridge?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't say how much time. So about an hour, 50 minutes to an hour. So let's say another 40 minutes. I don't remember what time we put it in there. And then what you do is obviously enjoy it. If you're going to eat it. But once you're ready to stop eating it, put it in the refrigerator or the freezer. Either way, the freezer, it's a little bit harder. The refrigerator, I think it's delicious in the fridge too, but either way works. And then whenever you want to take a bite, you can also store them in your jars. So like break the
Break it up.
the pieces up and then put it in your jars. And then whenever, it's so good in the morning with like coffee or yeah.
That would be
All
me.
day. I'm always eating chocolate.
Me too. But
I guess we're good then. So another like 40-ish minutes, and then I guess you guys can chat amongst each other how you liked it, but I would love to hear as well.
perfect.
Thanks so much.
Yes,
Of
thank you.
course. Great to meet
Yes,
all of
thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mhm.
again.
Okay,
Take
stay
care.
warm.
No, not you.
Not me. It's too hot here.
Yeah. Be cool.
Thank
Alright.
you guys. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.